What if I told you that the most expensive footballer in history at one point is now facing a possible 4-year ban from football? Paul Pogba had it all: unmatched technical skill, raw power, and a personality that made him one of the most electrifying players in the world. At just 23 years old, he became the most expensive footballer ever, with Manchester United paying €105 million for his return. Jose Mourinho once said Pogba would be the heart of the club for the next decade. Fast forward a few years, and his career is in ruins. Injuries, controversy, betrayal, and now, a scandal that could end his football journey for good. But how did it all go so wrong? First, we will uncover the early warning signs that everyone ignored. Then, we will reveal the moment his downfall truly began, and how Manchester United played a part in it. And finally, we will expose the scandal that might see him banned from football forever. But before we get to that, you need to understand, this is not just a story about football. This is a story about money, power, and betrayal at the highest level of the game. Let me show you how it all began. To understand Paul Pogba's fall from grace, we need to go back to where it all started. Born in France, Pogba was a footballing prodigy from the very beginning. By the time he was a teenager, every major club in Europe wanted him. At just 13 years old, he was captaining his local youth team. His talent was undeniable, so much so that Le Havre, one of France's top talent factories, snapped him up. This is the same club that produced stars like Riyad Mahrez, Ferland Mendy, and Steve Mandanda. And Pogba? He was on track to be the biggest of them all. By his second season, he was already captaining their under-16 squad. European giants were circling, and one club, Manchester United, was desperate to sign him. But then, controversy. Pogba left Le Havre without informing the club. The French side accused Manchester United of offering money to his family to secure the transfer. Le Havre went public, calling out Pogba and his family in an official statement. They even tried to get FIFA involved. But in the end, Manchester United were cleared of any wrongdoing. Pogba was free to join their academy, and it looked like a masterstroke, because once he arrived in England, he was an unstoppable force. He was the standout player in a Manchester United youth team that running out. Pogba had a choice to make: wait for his chance or leave. And just like he did with Le Havre, he walked away. Without informing Manchester United, Pogba signed a deal with Juventus. Sir Alex Ferguson was furious. In a press conference, he accused Pogba of showing no respect for the club. The warning signs were there. First Le Havre, now Manchester United. Pogba was building a reputation, a world-class talent, but someone who would leave the moment things didn't go his way. But despite the controversy, this move to Juventus, it changed everything. Because in Italy, Pogba became a superstar. On his Juventus debut, he played the full 90 minutes and dominated the midfield. His combination of strength, skill, and creativity made him one of the most exciting young players in Europe. Then came his first goal, an absolute rocket against Napoli. Suddenly, he wasn't just a prospect. He was a key player in one of the best teams in the world. In his first season, he was labeled Serie A's next big thing. By 2013, he was captaining France's under-20 team to a World Cup victory. Not only that, he was named player of the tournament. And in 2014, the final, Pogba was heavily criticized for his performances. Gary Lineker even tweeted, "Is Pogba the most overrated player in world football?" And once the Premier League season began, those doubts only grew stronger. Instead of being the free-flowing playmaker he was at Juventus, Pogba was now playing as a deep-lying midfielder under Mourinho. His creativity? Limited. His impact? Inconsistent. His confidence? Shattered. In his first season back, he managed just 9 goals and 6 assists in 51 games. For a world record signs of his career. He was outstanding in the tournament, defensively disciplined, offensively creative, a leader on and off the pitch. In the final, he scored a crucial goal as France defeated Croatia to lift the World Cup trophy. Pogba had silenced his critics. He was at the peak of his powers. And when he returned to Manchester United, he came back a different player. In the first game of the new season, Mourinho handed him the captain's armband. It looked like their feud was finally over. But it wasn't, because just a few weeks later, Mourinho stripped Pogba of the captaincy. The two had a now infamous confrontation during a training session. Cameras caught Mourinho glaring at Pogba, and the tension was obvious. By December 2018, Mourinho was sacked. It looked like Pogba had won the battle. But what happened next? With Jose Mourinho gone, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over at Manchester United. And at first, Pogba was finally unleashed. Most goals, most assists, most chances created. He was playing with freedom again, just like at Juventus. But then, everything changed. By 2019, Pogba was ready to leave. His agent, Mino Raiola, openly talked about a move. Pogba himself admitted he wanted a new challenge. Real Madrid, Juventus, Barcelona. But no deal happened. And that is when the fans turned against him. At Manchester United, no player is bigger than the club. And when Pogba stayed, he suffered one of the worst injury-plagued seasons of his career. Ankle injuries kept him out for most of the 2019-20 season. When he returned, Bruno Fernandes had taken over his role. Then came the final straw. In a match against Liverpool, Pogba came on as a substitute, and within minutes was sent off with a red card. United lost 5-0. The club had enough. Pogba's contract was not renewed. For the second time, he left United for free. But this time, he did not have the world at his feet. Because the worst was still to come. A blackmail scandal. A family betrayal. A doping suspension that could end his career forever. The nightmare in Italy. When Pogba returned to Juventus, he promised to prove United wrong. Instead, he walked into a nightmare. Injuries. Off-field chaos. One of the biggest scandals in football. In his first season back, he started just one game. His body was breaking down. But that was not his biggest problem. In August 2022, Pogba filed a police report against his own brother, Mathias Pogba. The details were shocking. Pogba claimed he was held hostage by a gang, including his own brother, who demanded £11 million in exchange for protection. Armed men confronted him. They threatened his career and his life. Pogba paid £85,000, but the threats continued. Mathias Pogba was later arrested and charged. Then came the final blow. In August 2023, Pogba failed a drug test. His sample showed elevated levels of testosterone, a banned substance in football. Juventus suspended him indefinitely, and he now faces a potential 4-year ban. If that happens, Pogba will be in his mid-30s by the time he is eligible to return. A career that once promised a decade of dominance is now in ruins. Paul Pogba was supposed to be one of the greatest midfielders of his generation. Now, he is fighting just to play again. So the question remains, will we ever see Paul Pogba step onto a football pitch again? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and bell icon.